Hello and welcome to a Seaside Garage project update. It's been a while since the last video. This is because I helped a buddy paint a house. So it was a quite big house. It was a small farm actually, so it took about a week. Now I'm back again, ready to start up on all the projects. And just to get an overview, mostly for my own sake, but also for your sake, let's just go over all the projects. The Mini is right here. It's running great. I haven't driven it since I got home from this week, so I'm looking forward to taking it for a little spin. It's running great. I think the car is going to be sold soon or traded for something else. Not because I don't like the car, but because I like projects more than running cars. We'll see if that happens. Also, I could use some cash for the other projects. It is expensive to have this many projects. So yeah, we'll see what happens. If I don't sell the car, then I might end up restoring it. But I don't think that will happen because I have so much else. But that's the status on the Mini. Let's take a look on the other cars. The GT Turbo comes along slowly. Nothing much has been done the last many months on the car itself, and also on the engine. There was a lot of waiting time on engine parts, but the engine is coming along nicely at the moment. I hope. So far, I reassembled the crankshaft and the pistons and liners, and I'm getting pretty much ready to fit the actually completely new cylinder head. So that build is coming along nicely. In the end of this week, or maybe next week, I will receive the seat covers for the car. So I will begin to restore the cabin. So yeah, there's a long way to go until this car is drivable again, but we'll get there. The engine will be almost completely rebuilt. I bought a used turbo, which I'm a bit uncertain about the state of, so I'm going to try to check that over. And a part of me would like to get it rebuilt, but we'll see. Maybe I'll do it myself. It's not really possible to do a complete rebuild of a turbo without the right tools, and I do not have the right tools. But that's the status of the Renault 5 Turbo. The 106 Rallye is getting pretty close to being MOT ready actually. This car is not mine. It's a joint project together with a buddy. And when it's finished, it will most likely not be featured that much on the channel, but sometimes it will come back, I think. We'll see about that. The goal for this project on my channel is to get it MOT'd and on the road again. And I think we'll do a little, not a road test, but just drive it around for a while and film it. The biggest problem this car had when we began on it was a seized rear axle. That has been changed now. I need to do the last few bits on that, brake lines and etc. But it's getting close to becoming ready. A video will come out shortly about the front brakes as well, because actually the calipers were fine, but I ended up snapping the bleeder valves and bleeder nipples, and that's not a good time. So those are going to be changed. So actually the entire brake system will be changed. Not the master brake cylinder, but the rest of it will be changed. We have changed the drive shaft on it and done a lot of other small stuff. We still have to do some engine work on it, but not a lot. And then it will be MOT ready. And I can't wait because I drove this car when I got it, and it's a real nice driver. Not back then because it only had suspension on 3 wheels. Now it has suspension on all 4, but no brakes, so I cannot test it. So, but even with only suspension on 3 wheels, it was a lot of fun to drive, especially the gear ratio is amazing on this car. So that's the status on that one. The 2CV is outside, and it's raining, and the wind is howling, so we're not going to go outside to take a look at it. But I just took it to the bakery this morning to get some breakfast, and it's running great, no problem. We are going to do some work on the suspension soon because it's very noisy, quirky, which is a pretty common thing on the 2CV, that it's noisy and sounds like an old bed when you drive around in it. It's a pretty easy fix, so we'll do that soon. It's a bit smoky on startup, and that worries me a little bit because this car got the Burton 652 cubic cylinder kit on it, and I have been careful bedding it in. But still it smokes a bit, and it could be because of the oil scraper rings and the piston rings not being bedded in proper. I haven't really investigated it further, so we'll see. It's a bit uneven on idle on startup, but once it gets up to temperature, it's perfect. It drives really well, actually. So that's the status on that one. The Volvo is outside, and we're going to drive it into the garage in a moment because there's stuff inside the Volvo which is going to be future projects. So we'll take a look at that. The Volvo itself is wonderful. My friend with the farm I helped paint lives far away from here, and we took it for a long drive. So yeah, that's nice. It works perfectly. So we're not going to do any work on that at the moment because nothing is broken. I'm beginning to really like the Volvo. And the Volvo is quite rusty, actually. These videos have a tendency to not show the actual state of the bodywork on cars. For some reason, video makes the car look really good. But it's not. There's a lot of rust on it. And I'm beginning to think about maybe repairing some of that because it's a nice car. And I would like to keep it. Another part of me would like to trade it for a turbo model instead, especially if I'm going to do a lot of work on it. But we'll see. It's a nice car and I really, really enjoy it. Talking about the videos not showing the bodywork very good, I would like to give an example. I got some comments about the 106 Rallye being in good shape, and it is when considering rust and such. There's not a lot of rust, but the paintwork is very bad. Take a look at the state, and it's not only the clear coat that is gone. The paint inside underneath is also cracked. So the white stripes down here is the bottom layer. I can't remember the English word, but the primer. So that is not in very good condition, but from afar on a video it looks pretty good. So I would just like to clarify that. Another project in my garage is this one. This is a Velo Solex 2200, I think it's called. It's a very old one. I can't really remember the exact year this is from, but I think it's from the 60s, around that point. It's a pretty special moped. Actually, a lot of people are calling it a bicycle with a helping engine. The engine is on the front right here, and it is pushed against the tire by a small roller inside. This means that if you hit a snail or something like that, making the tire slippery, you will lose horsepower and top speed, so don't do that. It's a very simple design. The fuel tank holds, I think it's 1.2 liters of petrol, and that should be enough to drive this moped 100 kilometers. So that is quite amazing. This one I own for many years, and I haven't driven it much the last few years. But I think I'm gonna fix it up a bit and take it for some rides around the local area together with other old mopeds, because that's a lot of fun. So I think I will go over it in a video soon. I know it works, but it's not running very fast at the moment. So I'm not going to restore this so it looks new, because I love the look of this, but I need it to ride well. The brakes need to work and the engine needs to pull as good as it can. It is 0.9 horsepower, this engine, so it's not a powerhouse. Actually, I have 2 of these. The other one is in pretty bad shape, and I think I'm going to make a restoration video on the other one, because that would be fun to restore. But I'm not going to restore this, because this has a lot of sentimental value to me, because I've owned it for so long, and I had a moped gang many years ago on these kinds of mopeds, and yeah, good memories. Very, very heavy. Very heavy. Oh, too heavy. This is gonna be a fun project, but unfortunately it will be a while before I will begin on it, because it needs some parts, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be a complete nightmare to find these parts, especially when you don't want to pay much for them, because I think they're going to be rare. What I know that it misses is a ignition module thingy. I don't know the English word, but it's a magnetic, old school ignition, magnetic ignition, I think it's called actually. It is on Danish, and that's a pretty rare item these days, at least. It is supposed to stay right here and deliver spark to the spark plug. Then it also needs a carb. The worst part about that is I had a big box of old carburetors some time ago, and I actually found out that one of them fitted this exact engine. So, but I sold it, and now I need it. That is just how it goes. This is a 2-stroke. I think it's 3 or 4 horsepower boat engine, produced in Denmark on the island called Ærø. It's a Marstal engine. Type B, I think. Yeah, Type B. It turns around, which is a very good thing, of course. And there is some kind of compression in there. Air is at least blowing out. Quite a lot actually, so that's good. This is a fun project, and I'm looking forward to beginning on it, and I hope to eventually find a boat that I can use this engine on. It's from the 50s, I think, and it got a very unique sound to it when it goes out. It's a really duck engine, this one, so I think the maximum revs for this particular engine is, I think it's 1200 rounds per minute, so it's not a high revving engine, and that is also of course because of this gigantic and very heavy flywheel. So yeah, this is gonna be a fun project. And then there is this project. This is a pretty legendary moped in Denmark. It's not rare, but it's very popular and very legendary. Every grandmother in the entire state of Denmark rode to work on one of these, pretty much, or so it seems when you ask people. This is a Puch Maxi. It's Austrian, I think, moped. This particular one is one of the very early versions of it. This is from '73. They came in 2, or actually a couple of configurations. There was some with gears and some without, but this is non-gears, and then it's with pedals. You could also get it with kickstart. It's a pretty straightforward moped actually. Fuel tank inside of here. Small little engine down here. This is one of the old cylinder heads covered where the liners is chrome. There is no liner inside of there. It's pretty cool. In Denmark, the laws only permit a moped to drive 30 kilometers per hour. So it's pretty muffled down, the engine. I think it's capable of driving 50 or something like that without struggles. But in Denmark, they put a restrictor inside the exhaust, so it doesn't go faster than that. It's going to be exciting to find out if this one still have that one in, because I hope that this moped is very original. It seems to be very original. The engine number and the chassis number matches, and that's a good thing. But yeah, I know nothing about it other than that. I don't know if the engine works. I don't even know if it turns. I know that the wheels are shot, of course. Yeah, we'll see. I think it's going to be a pretty easy project, but it could be a big one. I'm considering taking all the chrome details off of this and sending them to re-chrome. But I don't know if that's feasible economically. I don't know what the prices are for re-chroming. You can buy these parts pretty inexpensively, the rear thingy here and this one and the steering wheel. You can buy them pretty cheap, and also the wheels I can buy pretty cheap, and the exhaust and all this can be bought cheaply. But there is a part of me that would like to have it original, and to do that I either have to just drive it around looking like this, very rusty, or I could paint all the chrome parts silver, that's a possibility, or I could strip them down and send them to a chrome factory who could re-chrome them. So I will have to do some investigation and consideration about that. There's also always a cool thing about keeping a thing that is already completely original. It's gonna be a nice moped to ride around on. So this was almost all the active projects in my garage at the moment. I also have the Austin Metro. I haven't got the space for it at the moment, so it's stored next to my house, some way up the road. So I can't really show it right now. But I think I'm gonna bring it back this winter, maybe even before that. That depends on many things. But I'm really looking forward to continuing on the Metro. It's still primarily a lot of rust work, and I think I might be doing the rust work off camera and then bring you back when we're gonna make the car run again. But this is all the projects at the moment, at least in the garage. In the coming days I will release some videos on the 106, on the Renault 5 GT Turbo engine, and maybe a bit on the Puch or the Velo Solex. So yeah, I hope you will enjoy. See you.